A warm welcome to all who have joined us this evening. In the next few months, we're going to have a couple of different events that are coming up. They're going to vary on the subjects, but what we want to mainly focus on is to show the new types of studio equipment that is available and being used throughout the world by most people. But it's very important that we understand one thing. We're not talking about the $1 million equipment that's out there. We're talking about the ability to create a worldwide studio at a very inexpensive price. We're also going to be able to show how do you broadcast to worldwide to millions of people, and how do you do it at a very inexpensive price. Well, tonight we're going to briefly consider one of these ideas. We're going to start with the idea of broadcasting outside the studio. That remote event, that person on the street that you want to interview. Can you picture going to a convention center and interviewing the people right then and there and having it broadcasted throughout the world? This can be done, and it doesn't require a $6 million camera. We're going to discuss that. So join with me if you would. We're going to take a look at the old way briefly, and then new ways for a couple of minutes. We're not going to spend a lot of time, we're only going to take a few minutes. We'll try and answer at the end any questions that you might have, so feel free to put it into the chat down below. Now, if you still have a question after that, feel free to go to Kingfish, KINGFIS.studios@gmail.com. So again, thank you. And let's take a look at a couple of these old, what we call old types of ways. Remember the cameraman? You always see the cameraman. He's the guy who's the $6 million man who comes in with the tripod with the huge camera that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then we have something that even takes us beyond that. Remember the big trucks, the big production trucks? Take a look at these. In the control room. In the satellite dishes. Now, we're outside. Let's take a look at this remote event.
Hi, we've moved outside to try to simulate a remote-like location that you might find yourself at. Remember, we're going to events, being able to interview that man on the street. We're going to show you how to do that. The nice part about what we're going to show you is we're going to show you very simply and inexpensively. And that's a key point. What we're using here is an Apple Mini iPad. The Apple Mini iPad, as you can see it here, has the ability to be in a holder of some sort. You can put it on a tripod, you can put it on a device like this. You can, in turn, put different angle lenses on it. For example, I could add that lens, which is a wide angle, and I could even make it bigger than that by adding this one. Any type of lens that will fit this device will work with this Apple iPad. Remember, the camera is right behind here. The other thing that you could do if you needed to is to bring in lighting. Lighting mounts right on the top here. Enables you to do shots at night or wherever you might find out that you need some sort of lighting. The next thing we're going to talk about is the ability to do an interview. With the interview, what we want is we want to be able to do an interview. We don't want the distraction of like this airplane going over the top of us right now to block out what the person is saying. That's the reason why we use dynamic mic. This is a USB dynamic mic. You plug your audio cable into it. You can also plug an external headset into it if you choose. But in this case, we're going to plug it into the Apple iPad, the normal audio port. And what we're hooking this to is an iRig device. This iRig device lets you control the sound, the volume of it. It also supplies an external 48 volts and power to the mic if you need it. You can also at this point plug in an audio headset jack. This allows you to hear in the headset whatever's going on, whether you want to hear what's being fed from the studio or whether you want to hear what the person is saying. Sometimes the person might be 5 or 10 feet away from you, and you might have a person interviewing them. You need to be able to hear what they're saying. You accomplish that with this. So we have here a couple of amazing things. Some people will say, well, you know, I can't ever see. It's so bright outside with that. This device goes right on the top here. It's a viewfinder from Olympus. Very nice, very easy. You can see what you're shooting, whether it's bright or not. But here's the entire point of showing you this. Remember that camera the guy has on his shoulder, the big one, the big cameras on the tripods. They cost $5, $10, $15, $50,000, $90,000. A lot of money. What are they doing for the most part? For the most part, they're broadcasting from where they are at the event back to that truck we had a picture of, another $1 million. This device here, the Apple iPad, this new studio invention, will allow you to transmit directly from here via Wi-Fi, via cellular, HD, with tremendously good audio. Where is it going? It can go right to your studio, it can go to live stream, it can go to YouTube, it can go to all the places on the internet, and it's built in. Remember, we're talking about a $500 device, depending upon the memory you buy with it, to be able to accomplish what used to take millions of dollars. So I want to thank you for your time. This is just the first of some information events that we want to bring to you about the new studio. We will be talking about other things in the future, but this is where we're starting. So thank you. Have a good bye.
So, the point is this. Does it work? Yes, it does. Now we have a question that probably is going to go right along with what I was going to say, so I'll entertain the question first. Does the iPad work well? Yes, it does. Remember, I'm not against having a $1 million truck. I'm not against having a $100,000 camera. I'm not against having a whole studio of people. But you know what? I can't do it. I'm just an average Joe. I can't afford it. So what we're doing here is helping people to see that you can accomplish an extreme amount of things with just simple devices like this. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're going to do a production of the American Music Awards or something like this, I suggest that you get the right equipment, not an iPad. Okay? So don't be wrong. But the local interview, the man on the street, the event, it works well. Believe me, it does. And the cost savings, you just saw it, right? You don't need the $1 million truck. You can broadcast right from that iPad. Now we have another question. They want to know, how are you broadcasting this? Right now we're broadcasting this using a app called Business Hangouts. Excellent app. I can't say enough good about it. It's got everything that you could possibly need, and the people behind this are constantly working on this. It's got a foundation of the actual Google Hangout on Air, but this is an extremely good product. So I invite all of you, and you know the cost? It really is just free, okay? It has a free side, just like almost all things do today. So I invite you to try it if you get a chance. What are we going to consider going forward is another question we just got. Going forward, we're going to talk about many of the things that you just saw. We're going to talk about how are we broadcasting this. Let's take a look at this app. Let's take a look at the app that switches the cameras. Let's take a look at the different things that's required in the studio itself, in your control room. We just touched on one little thing here, but look at the savings. Okay? So again, I want to thank everyone. And remember, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me again. Kingfish, KINGFISCH .studios@gmail.com. So to all, have a good evening, and we'll talk again. Matter of fact, what we do is we send you out a link. All you got to do is click on the link. It allows you to register, and we'll give you the date and time and what the subject is of the next events. And thanks to all for joining us. Have a good one.